Well, hello there. Welcome to another episode of Needlepoint TV. Today is May the 11th, and I am delighted to be here with you this afternoon. We're trying a little bit of something different than what I've done in the past. So I'm broadcasting live here on our YouTube channel. I'm also broadcasting live on our Facebook page, in our free Facebook group, and in our Facebook group for the Stitchers Club. So fingers crossed, everything is working well. I'm going to ask you to do me a really big favor and type in where you're watching from for two reasons. One, of course, it's always great fun for me to see where you are. And then the other is to let me know that you can see me and hear me okay. So I am going to hop over here and check to see comments. And again, there is a little bit of a delay for those of you that are relatively new to watching these broadcasts. There's a little bit of a delay between when you type something in and hit enter and then when I actually see it. So I know, oh, okay, good deal. So Renee is here and she says that she's here from Southeast Louisiana. I was about to say west, but then I thought that's not right. So listen, I am so glad that all of you are here today. If you are new to Serendipity TV, or excuse me, Needlepoint TV, used to be Serendipity TV. Now it's Needlepoint TV. If you're new to Needlepoint TV, then let me introduce myself. I'm Ellen Johnson. I'm the owner of Serendipity Needleworks and the founder of the Stitchers Club. And we do these broadcasts every single week. We're going to chat a little bit today about the upcoming Spring Stitch Challenge. I'm so excited about it. And if you haven't had a chance to sign up for it, then of course I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that. We don't start until a week from yesterday. So that'll be May the 17th. And so let me look and see. I'm going to make sure that, okay, good deal. So Monica says she can hear me and see me okay. So that's perfect. I will also ask you, if you have questions, please feel free to type those in the chat. And if you're watching this as a recording, please do leave your questions in the chat as well, because we will come, or in the comments, we do come back and check on those to see if we can help out, however we possibly can to get your questions answered in a timely manner. So type them in all caps. It makes it easier for me to see, and we'll just jump right in. So I told everybody last week we were going to be doing, and this was, I mentioned it briefly at the end of our Needlepoint TV episode last week, which was actually on Thursday. And I mentioned we were going to be doing this. I've done stitch challenges in the past. So I know that a lot of people are probably wondering, well, what is a stitch challenge? And what it is just my way of giving back to the Needlepoint community. So I've been doing needlepoint for a really long time. I've mentioned before, my grandmother taught me how to do needlepoint when I was 9. So we're coming up on 50 years that I've been stitching, not doing the kinds of needlepoint that I'm doing now, because I learned how to do needlepoint on a pre-worked canvas that she bought for me at Gaffer's department store back in, well, let's see, 1972. So it's been a while. But anyway, all that to say that things have changed, and now I'm teaching needlepoint and loving every minute of it. Tickled to be able to share what I've learned through the years. And this is just a way for me to give back to the needlepoint community by sharing some of that I've learned as a shop owner, because I had a needlepoint shop for 14 years. And I've also, of course, been a stitcher for a really long time and have learned a lot through the course of that time, taking classes myself. And a lot of things I know are self-taught. So anyway, it's a joy to be able to help people learn how to embellish their painted canvases with decorative stitches, and also to help people who may not be interested in stitching painted canvases, but who like to do counted needlepoint or counted canvas work, which is another name for it, because a lot of the stitches that are used in that form of needlework are the same ones that we use to embellish painted canvases. So, if you want to learn a bunch of new stitches, different stitches, then this is a fun place for you to do it. We'll be starting next Monday, May the 17th, and we'll meet on Zoom. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to post. Let me jump over here and do this quickly. This is the link down here at the bottom. You can look at the bottom of the screen. If you type that in your browser, then that will take you to the place where you can sign up to get registered for the stitch challenge, I'm going to jump over here real quick and do something too. I should have had this ready to go. I'm sorry, y'all. I was not planning, or I did not plan ahead in this regard, but I will do this. I'm going to copy and paste and then come back over here and put it in the comments for you, because I know that that's a lot to type out. So now I've put the link in the chat. So if you want to click on that, that should take you straight to the page to register. So we are going to be starting next Monday. I'm going to be going live at 7:30 on Zoom. So you do have to sign up in order to get the link to be able to participate. We'll be going live on Zoom and spending about an hour chatting each weeknight, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, chatting about a different stitch that you can use to embellish your spring-themed needlepoint canvases. I do like to keep these somewhat seasonal. Sometimes I do, we'll do a theme. We might do, I don't know, I'm trying to think, what have we done? We've done 2 stitch challenges so far. Really, the first one that I did was last fall, and it was I would call it at this point the ultimate stitch challenge, because it was 16 stitches and it went lasted over 3 weeks. The last one I did was in the winter, which was at the end of January, 1st of February. And that was just 5 stitches that I thought that everybody needs to know. But this time I decided to give it a twist and talk about different stitches you can use on spring themed canvases. So think in terms of things like trees, flowers, rivers, the kinds of things that you would see maybe on a spring themed canvas. And I will go ahead and share with you that on Monday, if you sign up to join us, you'll get an email that will have the link in it for you to be able to access that. And there will be a password that you'll use. At this point, I feel like everybody's probably pretty familiar with how Zoom works. But if you have questions about that when you register, then please, we do have a help desk. And let me come over here and do this. Let me share this. So if you have a question about this, please reach out to our help desk, because we're more than happy to answer your questions. And I know if you've never participated in one of these, you're probably going, well, what's involved? I don't really know if I'm a good fit for this. So that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I share with you this afternoon too. But let me go back to those comments and make sure that I'm not missing anything. I'm going to scroll through quickly. I don't think... Nope, I'm not missing any at this point. Good deal. So what a stitch challenge is it's an opportunity for me to share with you a stitch and some threads that you can use to actually apply that stitch to a canvas. Now, whether you're doing that on a painted canvas or on maybe a sampler project, or any type of a counted thread canvas work project, it's not just specifically for painted canvas, because I know there are people who use a lot of these canvas embroidery stitches on other forms of needlepoint, whether it be like I said, the counted canvas work. Some people use some of these stitches on counted cross stitch. So it's not just for needle pointers, although you will see that the applications that I share with you outside of the demonstrations on how to do the stitches, the applications I share with you are geared towards embellishing painted canvases with decorative stitches or with canvas embroidery stitches. So that's really the angle I'll be coming at it from. But of course, we'd love having anybody who wants to join to participate as well, because, this is one of those things that you may not know you love doing this kind of thing until you give it a try. So if you're a counted cross stitcher, or if you're an embroiderer, or even a knitter or a crocheter, you may discover that you really like doing decorative stitches and needlepoint. So I invite anybody that wants to give it a try to join us, because it's absolutely free. And it's just there for you to enjoy and take advantage of. We will be doing recordings of the different mini workshops each night. I'm considering like a little mini workshop. So we'll be doing recordings. And if you do register to participate, then you'll get access to those recordings. So if something happens and you can't join us live for one of the nights, or even for any of the nights, because I know I'm on the Central Time, or in the Central Time Zone, but for our friends in Europe, that's going to be the middle of the night. So if you want to, we do have quite a few people who watch or follow along with us in England and France. So if you would like to participate, and you can't be there live, go ahead and register for it, and then you'll have access to the recordings, and you can watch those when the clock is on your schedule. It's not quite so at such a bad time, because I think it ends up being at something like 1:30 in the morning in London and 2:30 in the morning in Paris. So that's a little late to stay up and watch how to do different stitches. So, but on the flip side, for our friends on the other side of the world in Australia and in Singapore, we have it's going to be in the morning for them, so the next day. So anyhow, I think that if no matter where you are in this wonderful world that we all live in together, I would encourage you to sign up for it, because even if you can't join me live, you can watch the recordings, and they'll be available through noon on Friday. I think it's Friday, May the 28th is the date, though, for sure. So you can have access to the recordings until May the 28th at noon Central Time. And if you know anybody that you think might want to join us, please do make sure that you share the information with them, because as I've said, I think probably 5 times already, the more the merrier. So I'm going to go back over here now, and I'm going to put that link back up so you can see what the link is to sign up to join us. Some questions that I've been getting. One of the questions that I've been getting is, so what kind of supplies do we need? And there are 2 ways to look at this. You can, if you want to stitch along with me, then yes, indeed, you are going to need to have some supplies. You're going to need to have a piece of blank canvas, so you can use whatever mesh size you're most comfortable working on. I have a piece of canvas that I've actually already cut, and here we go. It's right here, and this is mounted on a stretcher bar frame. So I recommend that you work on a stretcher bar frame, because I want to make sure when I'm doing stitches that the surface of my canvas is nice and taut. So I have it mounted on a frame like this, and that keeps it, nice and stretched out, so that when I go to lay my threads on the canvas, it keeps the stitches looking nice and neat. The other thing, so you're going to want a piece of blank canvas. This is beige. Of course, canvas comes in white. Most of the time you're going to find it in a white as opposed to a color. I just happen to have this for something else, but you're going to want to have it mounted on a stretcher bar frame. This piece is 8 inches by 8 inches square. And I'm sorry for our international folks, I don't know what that conversion is into centimeters, but 8 inches, 8 inches by 8 inches. And then you're going to want to also have a variety of different kinds of thread. This can be leftover threads. It doesn't have to be new thread. So if you happen to have, leftover cotton or silk or wool, it doesn't matter. You can just go stash diving if you have a stash of leftover threads. And if you don't, then I would encourage you to reach out to a local shop. If you have one in your area, reach out to that local shop and just do, maybe get you a couple of skeins or cards of thread that you've been wanting to test out. I would say that at this point, some of my recommendations would be threads like Vineyard silk. Now, these are single strand, so let me just specify that. Single strand threads that would be good for playing around on 18 mesh canvas would be things like pepper pot silk, Vineyard silk, let's see, Splendor. And Splendor you could actually use on 13 mesh or 18 mesh. But anyway, so Splendor would be another good silk thread. Trebizond would be a good silk thread. And then if you're going to be working on 13 mesh canvas, which is 13 canvas threads or 13 stitches to the inch, then something like Silk and Ivory would be a good choice. I would steer clear of Pearl Cotton number 3. It's just, to me, it's not the easiest thread in the world to work with. You might try Planet Earth Silk. That's another good one for 13 mesh canvas. If you want to work with some different wool threads for 13 mesh canvas, you could definitely work with, I'm trying to think, stranded threads are probably going to be or maybe the, Silk and Ivory is a good one, and it's a blend. So, it works on 18 count and 13 count, but I think if you're going to be doing canvas embroidery stitches, then I think the 13 count is going to be a better option for you to use the Silk and Ivory on. But you could use, there's a thread called Waverly wool that would work well on 13 count, and you can use however many strands you need to get the coverage that you're trying to achieve. And then cotton, on 13 count cotton, I would, something to think about might be watercolors from the Karen collection. Not only would that be a cotton thread, but it would also be an overdyed thread. Well, that's a multicolored thread. The watercolors is a multicolored thread. So, and there is a difference, and we'll talk a little bit about that in the Stitch Challenge, about the differences between the different kinds of multicolored thread, and some of the ways that you can use those on your projects. So, but if you do sign up to participate, then you'll get a materials list, and then you'll have that in writing, so you can go ahead and and start collecting those supplies. In addition to canvas and threads, you're going to want to have some scissors, just some embroidery scissors, nothing fancy, a size 22 or 24 tapestry needle. If you're working on 13 mesh canvas, I would recommend a 22 tapestry needle. And if you're working on 13 mesh canvas, a size 22 tapestry needle, on 18 mesh canvas, a size 22 or a size 24, depending on what thread you're working on or with. So those are just the basic supplies that you're going to want to have on hand. And now let me go back over here and look, because I see some comments have popped up, some questions. Okay, notice people popping in to say hello. So it's good to have all of you who have joined us a little bit late too. So one of the things that I wanted to, talk to you about too is really about taking some time for yourself, because I know this is going to be on a weeknight, and it's going to be at 7:30 at night Central Time, and that's, for many people, that's a time for, the end of the day. If you've got children, you're trying to get your children settled. If you've been at work all day, you're just trying to kind of relax. So, there's no perfect time to do something like this, but I wanted to make sure that I did it at a time of day that was going to be more, where I was going to be more available to more people. But the bulk of our followers are here in the US. And I wanted it to be at a time for those people who work outside their home to be able to join us if they wanted to, without having to just know ahead of time that they were going to need to watch the recordings. So to give you the opportunity to be a part of it, live if you want to. So we have, I'm looking to see, I see we just have Suzanne just popped in. She's just right up the road from me in Birmingham. So glad to have not only Suzanne, but everybody here. So, I would say that I'd love for you to consider this a time that you're giving to yourself. It's as caregivers in so many different scenarios, whether it's as a wife or a mother or a daughter or an aunt or a sister. It doesn't really matter what role you're filling at any given time. I think we tend to shortchange ourselves. We don't do things that fill our creative spirits, and we are creative creatures. I think we just have, especially if you are a stitcher, you have that desire to create, that desire to make beautiful things with your own two hands. And so I just encourage you to set aside some time for yourself, because I know I'm guilty of it. I always think, the thing that brings me the most joy is to be able to sit down with a project and start stitching. And there's so many times that I just say, I just don't really have enough time to get started on that good. I think I'll just wait and do it later. And I just put it off. And so, I want to, this is funny. I want to challenge you to participate in the challenge. I'm going to tickle myself. But I want to encourage you. I want to challenge you to set aside some time. It's just for a week. And if you can't make it every night, that's no big deal. But I would love for you to at least try to join me, say 3 days out of the 5, and at least give it a try, and see if it's something that that you won't just get a tremendous amount of enjoyment out of, because it's not just about learning. Because we're going to be using the Zoom platform, which to me is like the best thing since sliced bread. I think that it's a great opportunity for you to connect with other people who enjoy needlepoint as much as you do. I live in a town now, since I closed my store, there's not a local shop. The closest one to me is an hour away. And then there's another one that's an hour and a half the other direction. And you talk about no good way to get there from here. that is the definition of that the needle bug is there is no good way to get there from here, because there is no good way to get to Montgomery from Tuscaloosa. So, with the Magic City Needlepoint in Birmingham, which is a terrific shop, but both of them are at least an hour away. So it's not like I can hop in the car and run over there real quick. It's a planned trip. So I have friends that stitch, but because of COVID, we're not getting together like we did before. And the nice thing about this particular situation is that you'll be able to be with other people who understand your love of needlepoint. They get your obsession with stitching, and it's just a fun place to gather and spend some time with other people who enjoy the same hobby that you do. So let me see if we've got anybody else that's got a question. I want to make sure that I do get questions answered, and I will go ahead and say this again because I know that we're going to have people that'll be watching this as a recording. I want to make sure that I encourage you to leave your questions too, because we will hop back and get those answered for you. So really kind of going to keep it kind of short today. We're going to, just to recap, we're going to start on May 17th, which is a week from yesterday, next Monday, and it'll be at 7:30 Central Time. Plan on about an hour. When you do sign up, and the link is down below, and I'll make sure that I put it in the information down below this video. And that just reminds me, I'm not sure I updated from last week. I need to double check and make sure that I've done that too. But we'll include the link for you to sign up. You will get an email when you do sign up to confirm that you are indeed signed up. And wait, let me see, it looks like. Oh, okay. So Lorraine has asked, could I please list the stitches from the Ultimate Stitch Challenge and the Winter Stitch Challenge? So I will have to dig those up. And yes, I can't do it right here, right now, but I can do that inside of our free Facebook group. And I'll definitely also put it inside of the Serendipity, the Stitchers Club Facebook group, so that y'all will have that. So yes. And just to clarify too, for those of you who have participated in the previous stitch challenges, these will be 5 new stitches. So these are not stitches that I've covered before. And so it, and one other thing that I want to make sure that I share with you, if you can get your hands on some silk ribbon, River Silks makes a beautiful silk ribbon, YLI, like yellow. Let's see. So what are letters? Yellow, lavender, indigo, YLI. That company has a beautiful silk thread. Or silk ribbon rather. Gloriana makes beautiful silk ribbons. So if you're not familiar with working with silk ribbon, I would love for you to see if you can get your hands on a spool or even some leftovers. If you have a friend who's a stitcher and they have some leftover silk ribbon, just ask if you can have their leftovers, because we're going to be doing a little teeny tiny bit of work with ribbon too. So it would be great for you to have that available to you as well. Okay, so again, to wrap it up and bring it on home. I would love for you to sign up if you haven't already. If you have questions, please make sure that you reach out to our help desk at help@serendipityneedleworks.com. We have our brand new website. There's also a contact page there. If you can't, remember what the email address is to send us a question to our help desk, then you can also go on our website, serendipityneedleworks.com, and make sure that you just click on the contact tab, and it will take you to a form that you can fill out and submit. And there's even a link on a banner across the top that you can use to sign up for the Stitch Challenge as well. So we'll be getting together starting next Monday, 5 nights in a row, 7:30 Central Time. And when you do sign up, you'll get an email that has the list of supplies, the welcome to confirm that you are indeed signed up. Also a time zone conversion chart so that you'll know, because I've done all the most common time zones that are people that I know are in our community. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I can't think of anything right this minute, but if I do, I'll make sure I include it in the comments or in the information down below the video. I also invite you to, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do click the little red subscribe button, and that'll get you notifications about when new things have been posted. And if you want to know when I'm going live, click the bell too, because that will give you a notice when I go live. And maybe you haven't checked your email, or you haven't seen any type of a notice that I am going to be doing a broadcast. Well, if you click that bell, then you'll get notified the minute I go live. So I appreciate you being here with me this afternoon. Please reach out if you have any questions. We're more than happy to help. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, happy stitching. Bye for now.